You know,
Hey, welcome in. Wednesday wrap up, episode 4. This is a fucking depressing one, man. These I fucking hate the fucking Packers so much. I hate them so much. Their season's fucking over, man. Like they just lost to, well, not just, but they lost last weekend or this weekend, whatever, to the Lions, the 1-6 Lions, well, 2-6 Lions. That's their 5th straight loss. They dropped down to 3-6. They haven't won since they beat the Patriots when it took them overtime to do so a while ago. Their season's flat out fucking over. So over. It's so over to the point where what I've noticed, bro, is that the crazy shit. Do you see that they picked up Jonathan Abram?
mm-hmm.
He got cut, and the Packers were like, "Yeah, bring him in." Jonathan Abram is not good.
No,
Not good. You were on that shit.
Convert him to wide receiver.
You were on that shit early. You were on that shit early. No, but he's not going to be any good. Darnell Savage has been the worst safety in football, and from what I've been reading from Raiders fans, we're going to be praying for Darnell Savage to be back there. That's what I've heard about Jonathan Abram.
He suffered from so I saw a lot of people saying rare Packers W and all that stuff, and I was like, y'all, no. He suffers from being so goddamn loud that when he makes one play, it's like, oh damn, those 13 other plays that you fucked up, I don't even remember those, because it's like, typical wide receiver when they're getting locked up all game and then they get one catch. He's like that.
Yeah. Well, again, it's normal. So. It's normal defensive back energy, though.
Mm-hmm.
He
just way louder than most of them.
Ball gets sent 20 fucking yards over somebody else's head, and they're
he's on my he's up there for me with Tyrann Mathieu.
Yeah,
but somehow, some way.
Well, at least
Pro Bowls.
At least Tyrann's like, but at least he was like good at one point. Like Abram's never been good. Like, well, I mean, like in college, I guess, but like, I don't know, man. Their season's obviously fucking over, and I guess that brings up the question, and it keeps getting asked. And when it first got brought up, I was like, no fucking way do you wind up benching Rodgers.
I was about to say Jordan Love time, baby.
And here's what I'll say. At first, I was like, no way, I'm good. Like, if he was good, he would have been. If Jordan Love was worth anything, because I think the Packers, I think they know what they have for the most part. Like, they know whether or not he's good
at this point,
or whether they know whether or not he can be good.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I don't think they think he's good, which is why they signed Rodgers to the big extension that he had. However, here's the thought process that I have on. Shout out Colin Cowherd for this one. I agreed with him about
big hater, but he's been on a streak this year.
I've been disagreeing with him a lot all year. He made a really good point today. He talked about the Packers and he said if they lose, because their next 3 games is Dallas, Tennessee, Philadelphia. Yikes. Philly. Yeah, it sounds like, again, the Packers could lose their next 2. I'm still going to pick them to beat Philly because I like the Packers have, for whatever reason, they play Philly close every time. It doesn't matter how good either team is. They play each other close. So I'm going to take Green Bay to beat Philly. However, he was saying basically after those, I'm saying basically he's saying once they're eliminated, throw Jordan Love in. Because here's for a couple of reasons. 1, you figure out what you have in Jordan Love, which is the good part. 2, you can pitch it to Aaron, basically being like, "Hey, sit on. There's no reason for you to be out here taking hits in meaningless games once we're eliminated." And what's the best case scenario for Rodgers? Jordan Love sucks, and the Packers get a top 10 pick, and then there's Jackson Smith and Jigba, a fantastic wide receiver out of Ohio State, there to take in the top 10. And I think that makes sense, because here's the thing. I don't think Jordan Love's going to be spectacular. Even if he's good, Aaron Rodgers has had a couple of games this year where he's looked good, and the Packers have just flat out fucking sucked. So, like, Jordan Love being good isn't going to turn around this team's season. So I think he can look good and they can still lose. And again, if he doesn't look good, again, from the Packers' point of view, or from Aaron Rodgers' point of view, you don't have to take hits from the rest of the season in a bunch of meaningless games. And people are talking about, oh, he wouldn't do that. It's like, I remember in 2017, he came back after he broke his collarbone. And then it was his first game back, and he was playing against the Panthers. And he threw 3 touchdowns and 3 picks. And all 3 picks were pretty ugly, but they were like rusty interceptions. Like, Rodgers was like, he just was chucking fucking bombs to Jordy Nelson, and the shits were just getting picked off because they were like, Jordy's the only motherfucker on this team. And so he came back from that. They lost that game. Then they were mathematically eliminated from the playoffs. And then I think the Packers, they cheated and lied and said that he got re-injured and put him back on IR, but he wasn't. Like, they got fined for it and shit. The Packers did, and put him back on IR because they were like, we're eliminated. There's no reason for you to come out here and start taking all these hits. And so they didn't. I think in 2018 they did a similar thing, or I guess they did it with Devontae Adams. He was like 1 catch away from the franchise record for catches in a season. And they didn't play him in the last game because they were just like, no reason to get him hurt. Because they were fucking eliminated.
I thought they were hating.
No. Because they were like, no reason for him to get hurt.
Because
I think he broke it the next year, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So I'm for it. I don't think that this season goes anywhere. They're up against it. They have quite literally, I think, they have the hardest schedule left in the entire NFL, and they're a bad football team. They have, again, they dropped to 3-6, so they got 8 games left. They have the Bears still, the Vikings, the Lions once again. There's 3. They have the Rams, Dolphins, and then they have the 3 string of games that we talked about with the Titans, the Cowboys, and the Eagles. So
I'm not even like hating because it's your team. I'm just like, they really thought that they was about to do something this year with this lineup. So I'm like, you fucking idiots. Why are you not buying in on helping your quarterback? And then also it's kind of cool to see Aaron Rodgers suck dick because it never happens. It's like Patrick Mahomes. When Patrick Mahomes goes out there and throws 3 hitters, if he ever did that, oh my God, you wouldn't hear the end of it. Aaron Rodgers, I just was like, I turned on that game and he threw an interception. I was like, nah, I'm good.
No, it is pretty crazy. And I also think that it's pretty dumb about a lot of the off-season narratives, because I keep hearing this stupid shit. And I hope this year puts it to rest. People are talking about, like, basically saying Aaron Rodgers is too careful with the ball, and that's why they'll never win playoff games, sort of shit. It's like, all right, so you want him to go out there, throw a bunch of picks? All right. Here's what are they a better team now because Rodgers is throwing picks? No, they're not. Rodgers doesn't throw picks, and I think this is already the most interceptions he's had in a season since 2016. He's probably going to get, if they don't bench him, he'll get to double digits this year. He'll get to double digits for the first time since 2010. I don't know.
Yeah, it pays to be a careful quarterback when you have good fucking targets to throw the ball to.
Mm-hmm.
They'll get you fucking easy catches.
Yeah, and again, even for me,
there's no point in saying fuck it. Whoever's down there is down there because ain't nobody down there.
Yeah, it's like, I think I saw someone say it on Twitter. It's like the 2011 squad for Green Bay. The fact that I was going to say the fact that they didn't win a Super Bowl is criminal, but that's not true. The fact that that offense didn't win a Super Bowl because that defense was dog shit is pretty incredible. But when you look at like the wide receivers he had, and someone pointed this out because it was Greg Jennings, Donald Driver, Jordy Nelson, Randall Cobb, James Jones, and then Jermichael Finley at tight end. I think someone said like Alan Lazard would have gotten cut from that roster, and he's their wide receiver 1 right now.
Facts.
And so I don't know. They I don't want to
Dobbs
say
would be a
rolled.
practice squad receiver.
Yeah, I don't know. And especially all the injuries they're dealing with. I sent it to Dallas earlier today. Take a look at this fucking injury list, bro. It was ridiculous, man. I'm just looking it up on my phone. This is just fucking crazy. Their injury report was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 17 people on the injury report.
Yeah.
And of those 17 people, the only people who practiced was Mason Crosby, Rasul Douglas, Alan Lazard, Aaron Jones, John Runyon, Preston Smith, and Christian Watson. The people who didn't practice was Eric Stokes, who they're probably going to place on IR. What's his name? Rashawn Gary's not even on it because they already put him on. Yes, he is. Sorry, this was before they put him on season-ending IR. Sammy Watkins didn't practice. Aaron Rodgers didn't practice, but he hasn't been practicing with the thumb all season for the most part. Elton Jenkins has a knee. Like they just again, 10 people aren't fucking practicing. Like starters too. Like it's not like they're back. Like if they're backup or practice squad guys, I think you could deal with that shit. But they're all starters. They're gonna get probably the floor wiped with them this week, sadly, by Dallas. They're gonna get the ball ran down their throat because their defense couldn't stop a nosebleed, man. Like it is bad. Well, their run defense is bad, and their pass defense by proxy is good because no one fucking passes on them because they'd rather just run the ball down their throat. It's like what Tampa Bay had. It's the opposite of when Tampa Bay really started getting their run defense going. It was like there was a year that they were the best run defense in football.
But they had absolutely nobody out there.
But they had the 30-second worst passing offense. And so everyone's like, oh my God, the Buccaneers defense is so good against the run. It's like, no, people are just passing that shit. Yeah, they're just you can run on that, or you used to be able to run on them, but people would much rather pass it. Like But yeah, the Packers are in the inverse of that situation. Tony Pollard's probably going for $150. Zeke's probably going carries, for 100 too.
Zeke's gonna get 50 carries, 200 yards. Pollard's gonna have 10 carries, 500 yards.
Yeah, they're gonna be running, and knowing Green Bay, and especially not Green Bay, knowing Dallas and knowing Mike McCarthy, they're about to run this shit the score the fuck up. They're not gonna be. Fuck, Cooper Rush is gonna be dotting this fucking defense up, bro.
Is he gonna be playing? Oh, you mean he's just gonna get out of hand? What do you mean? That's when Dak eats is in the fourth quarter. They're not gonna pull him. He's gonna put up another 125 when they're already up 37.
You're right. Fair enough.
They're trying to get him into that top 5. He missed a few games.
Yeah, but the Packers season's fucking over. It is what it is. At this point, I don't even know what I'm gonna do.
When I saw that box score, I was looking through it after the game because I was like, oh, I missed this, and what the fuck happened here? All I saw was the first interception, and then I was looking through that, and then during the game when I was on Twitter, I was just seeing a few of your tweets here and there, and I was just like,
yeah,
the Lions. I mean, I know that they've been their typical. We look like we're good, but we only win one game all season, and people still are like next year. But
yeah,
like
I don't know. Hey,
that was the first like performance of Aaron Rodgers that I've seen in my time watching. Of like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
there's some what the fuck games where he still puts up 4 touchdowns, and the what the fuck is the 2 interceptions. But
yeah,
he was just out there. I don't know what he was. I don't know, playing
people keep saying
Dallas on offense in Madden.
Yeah, people keep saying, "Oh my God!" People keep saying like, I've heard people say like that's the worst game of Aaron Rodgers' career. Blah 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 blah. And I'm like, no, it's not. Like, I think it's everybody keeps doing this shit where it's like. First game of the year, the Packers get or not the first game of the year, but like the Packers will lose like 2 or 3 games this season where they just get blown off the field. And everyone's like, that's the worst loss of his career. I'm like, every next loss can't be, and then he'll lose he'll lose 41 to like 38. And people are like, that's the worst loss of his career. How can you not beat that?
Has
Or, something stupid like that.
And 4 touchdowns. And like,
yeah, it's like, I don't know. Every next loss isn't the worst loss of his career. Like if you wanted to make shit, like for me, probably it was the opener last year to New Orleans where they lost 38-3. Rodgers had no touchdowns, 2 picks.
I called it.
Yeah, like that's up there. You could make an argument like if you wanted to go like playoff wise, like his game against probably, I'd say, I don't know, I'm trying to think, like the Giants in 2011, he didn't look super good. Like, I don't know, it's every next loss, like every loss for him is just somehow automatically the worst one of his career now.
Dude,
it's crazy.
I still can't believe that I called that game, that last year's one, because you were so confident. I was like, what's your prediction? You're like, oh, it was like a 10-point spread. And I was like, nah, they're going to lose. And you're going to come back to me. And I'm going to be like, nigga, I told you.
Yeah,
I didn't expect it to happen the way it happened, but it happened. I was sitting there like, damn, I got to start praying on more people's downfall.
Yeah, I saw Jameis Winston dropping dots, and I was like, bro, this,
damn.
Like I'm like, damn, there's nothing I can do. But hey, let's stop talking about the Packers. Let's bring it on. The Bills lost, and they dropped down to 6-2 after a loss to the Jets. This game is like legit the reason that I don't take the Bills seriously. Because like Josh Allen has the capability to absolutely fucking ruin his own team. Like he does this shit way more often than anyone like really thinks. But anytime he has one of these shit games, people are just like, oh, but like remember the playoff game that he played against Patrick Mahomes? It's like, yeah, but like like if you really think about it, like this year, he already has 3 games with at least 2 picks. He has last week where he had 2 picks, and I'm pretty sure he had 2 fumbles against the Jets, didn't pass for a touchdown. Yeah, he ran for 2. Then he had the week before, he threw 2 picks in the second half to Green Bay. And in the first half against the Rams, he threw 2 picks in the opener. I think, I don't want to say he got lucky, but like the Rams were not what they were hyped up to be. Like flat out, they were not what they were hyped up to be. And he kind of caught a break that like the team he was playing against fucking sucked. So it's like, so it didn't matter. Right. And then, so it's like, but it's like a whole bunch of games. Like Kansas City was easily his best game this year. It was a flawless game where I guess you could say what he did against Tennessee, but Kansas City, I think, is a better team than Kansas City is. But Josh Allen, again, every once in a while, he just is able to fucking nuke an entire game for his team. Like, and he does it in just like remarkable fashion every time. But it's like no one fucking focuses on it. Like last year against, everyone was calling Josh Allen the MVP last year. Everyone was calling Josh Allen the MVP last year. And in a game that they won to Atlanta, he threw 3 picks. He threw three picks, threw for no touchdowns, rushed for 2. But it's like he has this. They lost.
Every once
they lost
in a while,
to
He
Jackson.
just flashed back to his rookie year.
Yeah, and then it's like earlier that season as well. They lost 6-9 to Jacksonville, to fucking Jacksonville. And he threw it 47 times, didn't have a single touchdown, threw 2 picks. You know what I mean? Like, this is why I don't trust the Bills. Like I get that they beat Kansas City and all that shit, but especially now that Josh Allen's dealing with an elbow injury, they're playing the Vikings.
I was about to say, what's the update on the injury?
He's day-to-day is what they say, and if I had to take a wild guess, they're probably going to play him. But honestly, if he's healthy and they rest him, they can't. I don't think they can afford to do that because, like, I think probably the Vikings would wind up winning, but I'm not like 100% sure. But it's like at this point, the Giants or the Jets and the Dolphins, the Jets and the Dolphins, each have 6 wins in their division, and they've both already beaten the Bills. Like the Bills have to.
That didn't register in my brain when I watched that last half of that game. That's
like
the division.
Yeah. So now they still they still get to play against each of them again, so they can bring it back to even.
Mm-hmm.
But they're the only team in their division who has 2 divisional losses. Both their losses are in division. If you ask them, they would have way rather lost to the Packers than lost to the Jets because of how much it means, because of how much it hurts them, and especially they have a pretty soft-ish. Never mind. Now that I'm looking at it, not really. They have a more or less pretty difficult end of the season. They have the Vikings this week, Browns without Deshaun. That should be pretty easy. You get the Lions, which should be easy. Then you go Patriots, Jets, Dolphins. And then the Bears, who are looking, for whatever reason, fucking unstoppable with Justin Fields. The Bengals, and then you finished off with the Patriots again. Like, they really can't afford a whole lot of losses, because if they lose, then if they lose another game, the Chiefs vault up to the 1 seed. And to be super honest with you, I don't see 2 more losses on the Chiefs schedule, and I think I see probably 2 on the Bills schedule. The Chiefs have quite literally the easiest end of the schedule of anybody. Here's their end of the schedule, because they started off with one of the hardest schedules. They were the first team in NFL history to start off their first 8 games by playing a team who had a 500 or better record to start the season. But here's how they end it. They get Jacksonville this week, Chargers next week. The Chargers are always injured. Fuck, who knows?
My God.
The Rams, who suck. The Bengals, who I think they'll have Jamar Chase back, but he won't be 100%.
It don't matter.
Let's say that's a loss. Let's just say that's a loss. Then the Kansas City Chiefs, they get Denver, Houston,
easy,
Seattle, Denver, and Vegas to end the year.
So they are losing only 2 games.
That sounds like I think they're
losing
one.
To the Bengals and Kenneth Walker.
Yeah, but it's like they're like, that looks like, at least to me, that looks like 14-3. Like, they are in some serious.
Why does this shit keep happening? God damn it! Can they just lose?
They're in so much trouble. Like, seriously,
script writers are going crazy this year. They said that back half of the season, y'all gonna have it nice and easy.
Well, it didn't seem like an easy one before the end of the season, bro. We were all looking at that as like, oh, Vegas and Denver, and Seattle and Houston were supposed to be layups. Seattle turned away from a layup. It's like, oh, Cincinnati, both Los Angeles teams. Jacksonville was kind of thought to be probably pretty shit. But like, this sounded at the beginning of the season, this sounded like a very difficult schedule. Arizona, Chargers twice, Denver twice, Vegas twice, Tampa, Buffalo, San Francisco, Tennessee, and then all the other games I told you. Like, that sounded like a difficult schedule. And for the Raiders and Broncos fucking forgot how to play football. I don't know. That sounds like Chiefs to the 1 seed for me. And it sounds like literally another year where Patrick Mahomes is not going to have to play a road playoff game. He's still, what is it now? This is his 4th year starting. 5th year starting. And he has still not had to play a road playoff game. It's looking like the Chiefs are about to do it again. They're about to do it again because
no. This is my question. This has nothing to do with the Chiefs. Okay, but I'll get to that point. Do you trust Blake Bortles or Zach Wilson more? Because
probably we're getting Bortles, bro. we'll flip this over to the Jets, bro.
We're getting the Jets in the AFC Championship, and I'm not trying to see the. I'm still pissed that the Jaguars didn't make the Super Bowl that year.
Bro,
they were this close.
Zach,
the Jets got it. Part 2. Look, just ask them before we had. Okay, this is the only reason that I want this to happen. Zach Wilson is Super Bowl media day. Would you rather vape or get hit by a truck? Like, bro, those BYU interviews.
Dude, Zach Wilson has been so unbelievably bad this year. He's been so bad. He really has. Like he's the biggest fucking bust
Really
already.
taking after Aaron Rodgers.
Bro, Rodgers putting up better stats than he is so far. Wilson through 6 games has 4 passing touchdowns and a rushing touchdown and 5 picks. In six games, he has 5 touchdowns.
So it's basically like he's done nothing. So no judgment, really. We don't know yet. Five total touchdowns. 5. I mean, has he fumbled the ball?
Well,
maybe that'll push over the turnover battle.
I'm sure he has some sort of.
I don't know if
fumbles
he's Daniel
in here.
Jones like that.
No, there's no way he's like Daniel Jones. He does not have a fumble, at least from what I'm seeing.
So he's dead even.
But like, bro, he's just not good, man. Like I truly, and I still don't buy. Like I think they might make the playoffs at this point, being 6-2. But like, God, I gotta be honest. Like, I don't think that they're gonna be going super far because their quarterback can't do shit. Like, and it's not even like a Jimmy G thing where it's like he can keep it under control. Like Zach Wilson, like
they do everything they can to not have to give him control.
Like last week was the first time this season, at least, where he had less pick or where he had more touchdowns than picks. Here's his game log so far this year. Against Pittsburgh, the first game he played of the season, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. Then he went 3 straight games, no touchdowns, no picks. He had a rushing touchdown against Miami, but he had no passing touchdowns, no picks. Then against New England, 2 touchdowns, 3 picks, including I think it was a pick 6.
Jesus Christ, that one was that game was horrible.
And then last week he had 1 touchdown and no interceptions. Like he loses games for this team.
If he's like any of those people in those interviews, though, like they should have never drafted him that high because ain't nobody in those interviews able to lead an NFL team.
Like, bro,
what's your favorite cuss word? Shiz.
Bro, it's like,
darn it.
The craziest thing of all of it is like, because I say like, I look at the the stats because I say he's losing his team games. His first game back, he threw 1 touchdown and 2 picks, and the Jets won. You want to hear why they won? Because Kenny Pickett and Mitch Trubisky threw 4 picks on the other side of it. They threw 4 picks on the other side of it. Like it's not like he can't lead this team to wins. He looks just not fit to play quarterback.
Saucy-wassy.
He looks not fit to play quarterback. It wouldn't shock me if the Jets wound up
playing Joe Flacco.
No, I'm not going to say playing Joe Flacco. I mean, maybe that's a strategy they go with. I doubt it because if you play Joe Flacco, you're punting on Zach Wilson. Like you're telling him for sure. Like
you done for, kid.
You're done. Yep, you're out. like there's nothing. You can't come back from it. But I don't know. It is crazy. Here's a really weird stat, and it shows you how the Jets feel about Zach Wilson too. Joe Flacco played 3 games this year. Joe Flacco played 3 games. Zach Wilson's played 6. Zach Wilson only has 12 more passing attempts than Joe Flacco. That they let Joe Flacco go out there and sling it, and they're like, "Hey, we'll figure this shit out. Like, whatever. We'll be bad. It is what it is." They do not trust Zach Wilson, and now they're going to be dealing with Breece Hall. He's out for the season. He tore his ACL.
They trying to make my dog Elijah Moore look like the villain. Man, I'd want out that shit too. Yeah. Not only am I not getting targets because we don't trust my quarterback, they're using me to get the other dude targets. Yeah. Bitch, you can use anybody else to do that. We got other fast people. The fuck, I got way more to do than just run around like getting Garrett Wilson some stats.
Yeah. Do you take the Jets seriously?
I take their defense seriously, but like I said, I don't trust a BYU alumni to lead an NFL team. I'm being dead serious. I don't think if I were anybody on that team and that's my quarterback, I don't respect you. Dude, you saw that? Lamar was out there. He wasn't out there looking for an injured Zach Wilson. He was out there like, where Joe? He knows.
Also they were teammates.
Hey,
so that's
aside from the point. That's aside from the point. He said, "Where's Joe? That's
Sorry,
what I'm saying. Where's Joe?
The Jets are 6-3. My bad. They're
Yeah, 6-3. I thought they were 5-3 in the last game, but then I was like, maybe I was just anticipating the L they were about to take. But then Sauce was out there just covering niggas.
Yeah, but like,
I never thought about his name is Sauce.
Oh my god. Okay, all right.
You're
about to write that. You're right. About to write that shit down and spit that. I got you. No, but like, if Buffalo loses, because again, New England's only one back of them in the win column. New England still has to have a bye, but it's like, they're 5-4. Do I think New England's got it in them? No, but like Miami flat out can win that division.
That dog.
Miami can win that division flat out.
Yeah, like Miami playing so good, they got niggas really thinking Tua better than Herbert.
Bro, that's the power. That's the power of Tyreek. and not to make this shit about the Chiefs, but that's what makes what the Chiefs are currently doing like
so much more impressive. Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Here.
Let's just. I don't know.
Last question for you.
Fucking Travis Kelce, bro. Fuck. Sorry.
Last question. Who do you have making it out of the NFC at this point? Because honestly, I think it's down to 3 teams. I think that everyone would say 2, but I have a third one that I think could 4. I got 4 that can truly make it out of the NFC.
Okay.
Who do you?
Philadelphia.
Philly, yeah.
That's really the only team I can have any faith in right now, because we talk about like they haven't had like a tough get down to it game, but like based off of the record or the schedule we're seeing, there's like maybe 1 or 2 of those that might pop up, and I don't think that they will be that. And then we get into the playoffs, and they're just gonna be playing the same butt cheek ass teams that they've been playing all season, and like I don't think anyone's gonna be able to stop them. As like, I don't think they're even that special, like that crazy. Like they're not like a crazy like, holy fuck, like this team you gotta watch every game. Like they're just no one else is touching them.
Currently, right now, they're closer to the 11-0 Steelers than they are to the 2011, like whatever they went 13-0 Packers. Like they're closer in terms of like, I don't know. They're not.
I ain't saying they frauds, but
yeah, no,
they've not blown my mind in any of the games that they've played.
No, like you really look at it like what their most impressive win. Like what is their most impressive one on the year? Probably Minnesota, but Minnesota hasn't played anybody either. And the one time that they did play potentially somebody, they got the shit kicked out of them. Yeah. Like Minnesota. I'll give you that's a good win. After that, like. All right, you beat Detroit by 3. You beat Washington by 16. Washington's not that good. Jacksonville's not that good. You beat them by 8. Arizona's fucking ass. You beat them by 3. Dallas, who was starting Cooper Rush, you beat them by 9. Pittsburgh with Kenny Pitt, Pittsburgh, you blew the doors off of them. But it's like I'm not impressed by you beating Pittsburgh, Houston, Arizona, Jacksonville, Washington. Like Detroit, I guess I'll give you one because Detroit's offense generally can score at home. But like, I don't know. Like again, I got 4 contenders.
Hold on. I got 2 more.
Let's hear it. You want to go?
Philadelphia?
Yeah.
As much as I hate to say it, Dallas.
Yeah.
And the Seahawks. No. I think the 49ers.
Yeah.
Because like we were talking about last week, they are setting him up to win. And I just think that they actually got it this time around.
Yeah, for me, it's Philly, it's Dallas, and I think Dallas is going to sneak up on some people. They're like, because for whatever reason, like I don't think anyone is truly taking them seriously. One, because they're Dallas, and like I don't think everybody's like, oh, they're going to choke. But like if you look at their losses this year, one was first game against the season, and their offense looked like shit. I'll give you that 100%. Then it's like they haven't had a super impressive performance. Like, if you want to call what they did to Chicago, dropping 49 on them, like super impressive, I would say so. And like, so then I guess there is a bit of a, like, there is kind of some like crossover between them and Philly in terms of like, I don't know, like I haven't been super impressed, but like I've only had 3 games to really be impressed by Dallas's offense, at least. Like their defense has been lockdown clamps all season long. Detroit, for whatever reason, Chicago dropping 29 on them is fucking wild. But like I think Dallas. I'll save my full thoughts on Dallas for a second. San Francisco, I agree with you. Like, they have flat out the best roster outside of quarterback in all of football. Their offense, they have an all-pro everywhere. They have so much versatility. They have someone who I think is a really good coach who gets handicapped by really shit quarterback play at crucial moments. And I think generally, I think that they're going to wind up winning that division. Truly, like, I think they are.
It's two sides of the same coin.
Yeah.
Tua, Jimmy Garoppolo.
Honestly, that it's a very good comparison.
Those offenses are ridiculous. They're set up for those quarterbacks to win.
Yeah,
they're out there winning. Just one of them's able to do it a little bit better than the other.
Yeah, and so I got them, and then the last one I have, and this isn't because I think that they're some fucking fantastic team, but man, the path looks so easy. Tampa. The path for them,
Tampa as well.
The path for them,
someone's making it out that division,
and this is getting someone literally has to.
If it's them, they're the most dangerous out of that division.
Well, I think it's gonna be them, because here's basically what you would have to do for it to not be them. Because currently they're tied with the Falcons right now for the lead in that division. I think they have the lead because they have the head-to-head win over the Falcons. They're both 4-5, but basically what you're asking is Atlanta, because I think Atlanta still has not beaten Tom Brady, period, like ever. You're asking Atlanta to basically, because I think Tampa Bay beats Atlanta again. You're asking them, they have to basically be 2 games better than Tampa for the rest of the season. Like, they're going to have to get 2 more wins than Tampa does the rest of the season. And the only way I could see that happening is if Brady has another meltdown game, or if the Saints and Panthers really get Tom again.
Yeah.
Because like something crazy is going to have to happen for that. But like, here's the thing. Like, currently this is a narrative that's gotten used a lot lately. Nick Wright uses it a lot, but I 100% agree. There's a scenario in which they're the 4 seed going into the playoffs. They're the 4 seed going into the playoffs. And then they would get either the Cowboys or the Giants at home. And for the sake of this one, let's say it's the Giants. He would get to face Daniel Jones at home. Yeah, he'd get to face Daniel Jones at home with the defense that has the strength of run stopping against Saquon.
Mm-hmm.
Then after that, the way the playoff bracket will work out, because it would be Eagles 1. It'd be Eagles 1. Sorry, let me look. Eagles 1, Vikings 2, NFC West winner 3, and then Tampa Bay 4. And then after that, I think you'd probably go Giants, Cowboys, and then it would be Seahawks or not, like whichever one doesn't win the division.
Mm-hmm.
And bro, like, to be super honest, like, basically the way that I've seen it play out is it's like he could play Daniel Jones. Then after that, because I think if the Niners don't win the division, which they're currently not favored to by Vegas, he would go. The next round would be at Geno Smith, because the Niners would probably win against whoever they're playing, and then they'd go to Philly.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Niners could beat Philly, because I think Philly's beatable. They've just played a bunch of garbage teams.
Yes.
And they're going to continue to play a bunch of garbage teams.
Yeah.
So he'd go to
NFC West on their record. I don't think they would have all these wins.
He'd go to Seattle and play Geno. And then the NFC Championship would be
he ain't
at
going right
home.
Back, though.
The NFC Championship would be at home against it'd be at home against
the Niners.
Jimmy G.
Yeah.
He could or even if you think that they it wouldn't be Geno. Sorry, it would be either way, the quarterbacks in the NFC, the quarterbacks in the NFC fucking suck. It's Kirk Cousins, Jalen Hurts, they're in like that mediocre to good category. Jimmy G can wreck his own team's game, very similar to like Zach Wilson. Like you have those 3, and then you have Dak, who's in that probably like middle category. Is like, you don't have a single elite quarterback there.
Mm-hmm.
his path to the Super Bowl would be going through Geno Smith, Daniel Jones, Dak Prescott, Jimmy Garoppolo, Jalen Hurts, and Kirk Cousins.
Whole bunch of dogs.
Yeah, but currently
NFC overall just fucking sucks.
They suck. Yeah, for me, honestly, like the team I have,
quite literally
advancing.
The only two good quarterbacks in the division are legacy quarterbacks. Them motherfuckers is out of their prime.
Yep. the team currently at this point, who I think should be or not the favorite, but I think is probably best set up to win the NFC, especially after I think they add Odell in 2 weeks. Dallas, bro. Dallas is so set up. This is, well, first off, it's the best defense. First off, hey, I know you're an Odell fan. Odell's gonna look fucking drippy in that Dallas uniform, bro. I know you've been looking at those jersey swaps, being like, "Damn, that looks good." I don't want him to go there.
All I've seen is the dark jerseys.
The dark jerseys
didn't look good to me.
All right, we're gonna have to disagree on that one. No, Dallas this is their best defense in over 15 years. I'm pretty sure.
Micah Parsons is him.
Literally, Micah Parsons is ridiculous. Trayvon Diggs has taken the leap. Trayvon Diggs is an elite corner. He's a borderline top 5 corner now. They can get after the passer. Like DeMarcus Lawrence hasn't been a slouch either. And then on offense, if like we have 3 games of their offense with Dak Prescott. One ended with him getting injured in the fourth quarter where he's at his best.
Damn.
But like since he's come back from injury, he scored 24 and 49. Well, 42 because Micah Parsons ran one back for a touchdown. Like this team, especially if they add Odell as a slot guy, bro. CD Odell Gallup, Dalton Schultz at tight end. They're going to be getting James Washington back here pretty soon, who they signed in the offseason, and then he broke his foot, I believe. And then Tony Pollard and Zeke in the back. Like, I don't think like this is the most Dallas has been in contention. One, I think, in a while. But like they had a really good team in 2016. But at the end of the day, I didn't expect a rookie to like lead them to the a championship game.
Mm-hmm.
Like I legit think that the NFC Championship game we're looking at is either Cowboys Niners or Cowboys Eagles at this point.
Because Eagles would be crazy.
Because I truly think currently, dude, it would set the internet on fire, bro. Mm-hmm. It would set the internet. But like, because I think if everyone, there's 2 teams in the playoffs who I think everyone wants to duck, and I think it's going to be Dallas and it's going to be San Francisco, and I think Tampa because I don't think Dallas is going to wind up. I don't want to say that I don't think they're going to win the division, but it's not likely. Like, I think that there's a scenario in which Dallas does do it because I think the Eagles still have to play the Giants twice. I think the Giants can get them once, and I think Dallas does get them a next time. And Dallas hasn't lost an other division game. But, like, nobody's going to want to face Dallas or San Francisco. So I think, like, those teams, if they get matched up against Tampa Bay, I think Tampa Bay is probably going to get ran through. Like, yeah, like this is again, it everybody like buys into it every year, but I think this is one of the first years that it's like legitimate. Like Dallas Dallas can really fuck some shit up in the playoffs. Truly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like the fact that their offense, the fact that their offense is like we don't even know what it is yet. And their defense has been quite literally one of the best in football. Like their defense, they lead the league with 33 sacks, and they've played a game less than the next 6 teams on the list. 5 teams on the list. And they have more sacks than anybody else. Micah Parsons has 8. The New England Patriots, the only reason they're up at 32 is because Matt Judon has like 12 or whatever he's at, 11. Yeah. But it's like the Cowboys, I think they're like 2nd or 3rd in points per game. They are, let me see. They are currently, they're 2nd in points or 3rd in points per game. The only teams who have it better is Buffalo, Denver, who just got rid of everybody good on their defense, and the Cowboys. And then the Eagles are next. But like we have no idea what Dallas is like. They have a top 3 scoring defense, and their scoring offense, who's had Cooper Rush for most of the time, is still top half of the league. They're going to be.
This is just making me realize how fucking boring the NFC is.
Yeah, the NFC is really bad this year.
3 teams that are any kind of interesting. Everybody else is just like, we're getting there. We're working on it. Even the teams that are good as fuck, you're still like, because like the Vikings.
No,
I mean, like, I love me some Jay Jettas, but
he just got his first touchdown last week since week 1.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like they don't have. There's not a whole lot of interesting.
I am waiting for the day that I can smoke on that Kirk Cousins pack, and it'll really suck when all of Mr. Jetta's prime years have been wasted with that fucking bum.
Bro, I saw people. I saw people. And when I say people, I mean Greg Jennings, because I don't take a fucking thing that guy says seriously. And I know everybody's gonna be like, "Oh, okay, this is because he criticizes Aaron Rodgers." No, it's because before the season he called Kirk Cousins an MVP candidate, and then today he doubled down on the shit. And his entire case was basically that there were 7-1. You know what you have to have an MVP? Well, one, you probably have to have the best record. They don't have the best record in their conference. You probably should be, throw, I don't know, the most touchdowns. Nope. He 13 touchdowns, 6 picks. That does not sound like an MVP to me. No chance. He's not an MVP, bro. You could genuinely throw pretty much. You could throw a whole lot of quarterbacks on this roster.
Daniel Jones.
Daniel Jones on this roster would give you similar production. Flat out. Like, I think
Justin Fields.
Justin Fields would bake with this fucking offense, bro.
I just want to see Justin Jefferson catching passes from a black quarterback.
Jesus.
I'm trying to think. How many starting quarterbacks are not white in the NFL right now?
Here, 1, 2, 3,
Hurts,
4,
Lamar,
5, 6.
Hurts, Lamar,
6.
Who were we just talking
7.
about? Fields, Brissett / Watson.
8. Here, give me a second. 8,
Murray,
9,
Gino,
10, 11, 12. 12.
Damn. That was way more than I thought.
12. We got just going through the AFC. Got Tua, Lamar, Deshaun / Brissett. Then you have none in the AFC South, but then you go in the AFC West and you have Mahomes and you have Russ. Then you go in the NFC West and you have Kyler. I didn't even count Jimmy G if you want to count him. I don't know. I don't even know what he is. Then you got Geno Smith. You have Jameis Winston. You can kind of count PJ Walker maybe if you want to.
I forgot about Winston.
Jameis. Then you go Marcus Mariota in the South for the Falcons. Then you have Justin Fields as the only one in the NFC North, although Jordan Love probably about to get kicked up into that category. And then Dak Prescott and Jalen Hurts in the NFC. So yeah, you got 12.
Damn.
Yeah, but I don't know. The Vikings. The Vikings. Honestly, I think genuinely. I think the Vikings. I know I said something a little bit contrary to it earlier, but I see a scenario in which the Vikings could lose to Josh Allen's backup this week if Josh Allen gets benched.
Who the fuck is Josh Allen's backup?
It's Case Keenum.
Oh,
Case Keenum.
He's got it on lock then. Fucking Case Keenum to Stephon Diggs.
Yep.
Come on now.
He about to do.
Damn.
He about to pull a Minneapolis Miracle.
Damn.
On the Vikings.
Damn. I didn't. Yeah. I never thought about. They did that on purpose.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Did Keenum ever play on the Texans?
Texans? No.
No. Who else did he play for?
Keenum played for. He was the backup for the Browns. He was
should have been starting
Vikings. I'm trying to remember who else he played for. He played for a bunch of teams.
Yeah.
He's like one of those career backups. Yeah. Like we don't even know if Josh Allen's going to be in the game. and currently the Buffalo Bills are still predicted by 80% to win. You know what I mean? Like very tough.
Damn, that's so crazy.
The NFC's
how much a quarterback does for your value, man. Because that team, that offense. Every year I look at that and I'm like, oh.
Yeah, the NFC. It just shows.
Just give up on his fucking dumb ass, bro. We don't like that anymore.
Here's who Keenum's played for. He played for the Texans all the way back in 2013. So yes, you were right.
I was wondering if he'd throw any passes to Hopkins, because if so, that motherfucker's been throwing to some goddamn stars all his career.
No, but he played 2 seasons in Houston, a season in St. Louis, a season for the Rams in L.A. Then he had the season where he went 22 touchdowns, 7 picks for Minnesota in 2017. He played 16 games in Denver, was very mediocre. He played 10 games in Washington. He spent the last 2 years with Cleveland, and now he's in Buffalo.
Damn, that boy be getting around. They be passing him around like a blunt. I was gonna say something way more disrespectful, but
yeah, I figured. No, but dude, the NFC is so unserious. So unserious.
That's crazy. It's like the East a couple of years ago in the NBA. Up until LeBron left the conference, it was absolutely no competition.
Well, at least now
there was a team that you were confident in, though.
But now there's no number one contender. Like there is like there's a number one contender in terms of like, the Eagles are undefeated, but like they're not an undefeated team where everyone's like they're just better than everybody else.
That's the best team in the league. Yeah.
Yeah. Like on it, like I don't care. Like I'm gonna shit on Buffalo for a while for their loss to the Jets. My power rankings still go Chiefs 1, Bills 2, Eagles 3. Like still, like because it's not a fucking standings. It's not like that. Just like the Vikings aren't 4 over a 3-point win over Washington.
Mm-hmm.
Like the NFC is so weak. Like I could see like a team who isn't going to get in, but a team who for sure, like if they did get in, I think would scare some teams, would be Chicago. If Chicago got in, they'd scare some teams. Their defense looks like shit now that they traded away Robert Quinn and Roquan Smith. But
that, I mean, somehow, some way.
But like if Chicago
literally
found
2 weeks
a way,
ago, we were talking, not we, but the people were saying it's over for Fields, and then homie just was like, yo, hold it.
Yeah.
Hold it. Shut the fuck up.
Like literally out of the 7 seed currently, like you have a bunch of like the Saints, Packers, Cardinals, and Bears are all 3-6. The San Francisco 49ers, who hold the 7 seed, are 4-4.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know. For as good of records as the conference has, I don't buy
it's because the rest of the fucking conference sucks dick.
Yeah.
They're just the ones that suck the least amount of dick.
Yeah. Like Philly and Minnesota are your 2 top seeds. Then you go to Seattle. This is where it starts to get super duper untrustworthy. Tampa at 4, and they're probably the second most trustworthy team. Dallas at 5. We know their history. Giants at 6. San Francisco, like, it's just not it. Like, I don't care what the records say. It's not a good conference.
No.
Like, it's not a good conference.
No.
Like it truly does feel like the winner of the AFC Championship game between Buffalo and Kansas City.
That's going to be the Super Bowl.
That's your Super Bowl winner.
Again.
Like, yeah. Well, not again, because remember the Bengals got...
No, I mean the AFC Championship will be the Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be the best game.
Yeah.
No, straight up.
Shit.
I'd agree. And like even, here, let's touch on the AFC and then we'll get out of here. Like even the AFC, like there's not a whole lot of... I don't know what to make of the AFC, bro. Like, well, I know I don't know what to make of the rest of the AFC. Like Buffalo and Kansas City, I know are good.
Mm-hmm.
But like, other than that, man, like Baltimore's super inconsistent. Like they should be, you could make
they should be in the argument for the best in that conference.
They should be flat out 9-0 and be the no doubt best team or be close to the best team in the league. But they've blown a bunch of leads.
Mm-hmm.
Tennessee, they still got to get their quarterback situation solved. I realized Tannehill was hurt, but like I don't think Tannehill does much better than Malik
Bruh,
Willis did that game. Like everybody's kind of like, oh, if Kansas City had, or if Tennessee had Ryan Tannehill, this would be a different game. It's
dude,
like you didn't watch Ryan
bro,
Tannehill when the
bro,
defense got 9 sacks against Joe Burrow in
bro.
the playoffs. You didn't watch that shit.
That was probably the first game in a long ass time where besides Robert Woods, which I realized was in the game after a long time,
Yeah.
I could not name a fucking person that they were trying to have Malik Willis throw that ball to.
Yeah.
I was like, I was literally not even mad at his performance. I'm like, from what I watched, he did good with what they had him doing. Because who the fuck was out there, bro?
Well, like also you're doing you have your second career start in literally the loudest opposing stadium.
Yeah. With Robert Woods and Derrick Henry as your most reliable weapons. Robert Woods on the back end of his back end.
Yeah. Coming off of an ACL injury.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
So then you have them. Then like who's then in that next tier of teams? Because it's Buffalo, Kansas City, and Tier A. And then what? Tier B is probably like Baltimore, Miami, and Cincy. Like, probably.
Yeah, like, I'm confident in saying Miami and Baltimore. Cincinnati, we'll see. Well, I'm in on them, but I ain't fully. They're not my tier 2 team.
Here's what's good for Cincinnati is they have a not great late stretch to the season, but they play Pittsburgh this week. And again, Joe Burrow struggles versus Pittsburgh, or Pittsburgh has an edge over Cincinnati recently. But this should be the last game they're going to play without Jamar Chase, and getting lowly Pittsburgh should be like a good sign for you. But then after that, Titans, Chiefs, Browns, who are going to have Deshaun back at that point, Buccaneers, Patriots, Bills, Ravens.
Let's make sure all the cheerleaders are out of the stadium, first of all, once Deshaun starts playing football again. But what do you think's going to happen with the Browns once he's back in that shit? Because I hate to say it, but that motherfucker's a monster.
Yeah.
And he's also really good at football.
Yeah. I think, here's the thing. I think that, I had the Browns sneaking in to the playoffs as the 7 seed is what I think I had in my preseason predictions. Because I had, I don't know, I had Jacoby Brissett not selling as much as he has. Mm-hmm.
You think that they're going to be more legit than Cincinnati?
More legit, no. more legit, no, because they just although they have like a dominating running game with Nick Chubb, who's like on pace for like
a whole back full of the dominatrix.
He's on pace for like almost 1,900 yards and a bunch of touchdowns too. But like,
I'm glad he noticed what I said.
No, I did.
No, Ethan.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, they. Monster on and off the field.
Yes, sir.
That's true. But bro, like, I don't know. The Browns are about to lose another 3 straight, and at that point they'll be 3-8 because they got the Miami this week, they got Buffalo next week, and then Tampa, and then Deshaun comes back and he gets at the Texans. That should be a win. That's a wild place for his first game. At Houston, bro.
They did that on purpose.
Well, the
you know it's gonna be crazy when they have those. Well, never mind.
Well, the thing, yeah. The thing was the signs in that stadium. It's gonna be gross. And so,
I was gonna say they're gonna have those women on the other side of the field.
Oh yeah,
they're gonna have them on the Houston Texans sidelines. Oh, are we distracting you? Can't focus on your game.
Yeah, and bro, and like do my job. Yeah, and so and Houston. Here's the thing: the reason they scheduled it for Houston is because they were trying to decide between 10 and 11 games, and if they gave him 10, he would be coming back against Tom Brady. And the thing was is that the league didn't want his first game back to be against like Tom Brady, who's like the golden boy.
If he hadn't retired, it would have been more fitting if he came back versus the Steelers.
Oh God. Yeah, but then they get after they get the Texans, then they get the Bengals, Ravens, Saints, Commanders, Steelers. Yeah, they're gonna be done. They're gonna be toast. They're gonna be toast. And so I think the Browns, I don't know. I can't take them.
So what about in the future though? How about next year? You think they're like that with Deshaun at QB?
They need more weapons, man. Like Amari Cooper's cool. and he's like a lower to mid tier wide receiver one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. Like
He ain't that guy.
He's hot and cold. Like he's gonna give you a lot. Again, he'll go for 150 and then he'll go for 20 yards. Like it's
he
just
really
that's just,
did. Like you can tell, CD got where he got that from.
Yeah, no, literally. Well, that's a different issue considering CD just can't figure out like. Well, Dak wasn't targeting him for a while, but it's like you look at Amari Cooper this season. Although he's been a little bit more consistent this season, first game of the season 17 yards, then the next two 101, then 9, then 76, 44, 74, and then 131 last on Monday Night Football. Of course, on my fantasy bench, right? And so I don't know. I don't take them super serious when they get him. They're gonna have to get somebody else, like another. They're gonna have to get another like playmaker, but like they gave up their picks for Watson, so they're in it for the long haul for sure. Like they don't have a choice, and especially with the contract they gave him. Damn. Ethan, I know you're in the chat. If you have any question you want to ask, feel free before we wrap it up.
That's some horrible phrasing for the context of that quarterback. He didn't give them a choice. They're in.
Dude, my God.
He's out there just violating everyone.
Yeah. Yeah, that I've never seen a more gross contract than that. That shit was disgusting, man. Like they gave him, it was 5 years, $200 million, I think, and fully guaranteed. First off, which is
okay. If you can fully guarantee a contract to a serial rapist, why can't we guarantee some money for my nigga Lamar Jackson?
Yeah. Well, well, again,
it doesn't take no for an answer.
Yeah, and so, oh God, the grossest shit about the contract isn't, well, it's the guaranteed money, obviously, but the way they structured the contract, so it's he only is losing $1 million out of his like they made his base salary for this year $1 million. So he's only he's losing $1 million or around that while he gets suspended. And then like next year he's getting like 60 something
coming in. They made sure of it.
Yeah, which again, gross fucking contract. Which makes he knew he was getting fucking suspended.
Yeah.
He knew that shit for a fact.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ethan, I'll give you like another
villain.
I'll give you like another minute before we end this bitch if you want to ask a question about whatever.
MH, man.
They're going to be
my head.
Yeah, I don't know. The Browns are going to get what's coming to them for sure. Like if they don't.
So funny. It's so fitting of the Browns. Who's getting the number 1 pick in the draft?
There's a couple contenders. Currently, if I'm here, let me look at I think the draft order should be up. Well, it's not.
That's a good question because since every conference fucking sucks.
No,
there's some bottom of the barrel teams that shouldn't be getting wins.
So here's who you have. So currently it's the Texans. They're 1-6-1. Carolina's 2-7. Pittsburgh, Detroit, Las Vegas are all 2-6. Then you have a group of a fat group of 3-6 teams. I think, and for me before the season, it was Houston. I think I had Houston. Here, I can look up my preseason power rankings, but I think I had Houston as getting the number 1 pick in the draft, being the worst team in football. They have a flat out untalented roster. Like they have one baller. Well, they have a couple ballers on defense now, but they have one baller on offense outside of Brandon Cooks, and that's Dameon Pierce, who I personally think probably is going to get Rookie of the Year over Kenneth Walker. But no one cares because the team isn't winning. Pierce has more yards. I think he has more touchdowns. Pierce is like 5th in the league in rushing. Plus he got all the offseason hype.
Yeah, he's nice.
I
Walker takes it from.
I think I truly think though that it's gonna be Houston, and Houston. I don't know what they're gonna do. Like they should.
The next 10 years.
I'll tell you who they should take though. They should take 100%. They should take
my guy, Marvin Harrison Jr.
Well, he's not in the draft.
I know.
No, they should take Bryce Young, the quarterback from Alabama. They should take him. CJ Stroud's a flat out fucking fraud. CJ Stroud for Ohio State is a fucking fraud.
I think that they should go the route that I went in my franchise, and I took Anthony Richardson.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't see him going.
I took him 32 though.
Oh, okay. Well, then that's different. Yeah,
I won the Super Bowl.
But CJ Stroud, man, he has a knack for underperforming in games. He should kick the shit out of the team.
Yeah,
he put up.
I just can't see someone with the last name Stroud being an NFL quarterback.
Like last week, here's an example. Last week they played against Northwestern, who has one win. He was 10 for 26, 76 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. He had 79 yards rushing
in a college game.
But yeah, he
should be putting up 700 passing yards in a college game against a 1-win team.
Well, and the craziest thing,
he plays for Ohio State, right?
Yeah. Well, the crazy thing is, I think what he did was it last year against. It was he like no showed last year too against like another really bad, or maybe it was 2 years ago, against like another really bad team, or someone no showed. Yeah, like I don't know, like he played super well in their bowl game in the Rose Bowl against Utah.
How do you fold against the guaranteed win, but perform in the bowl game?
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't buy CJ Stroud. He's just flat out not super. I don't know. Like I saw everybody hyping him up and telling me he was better than Bryce Young, and I'm generally a stay away from Bama and Ohio State quarterbacks, but Bryce Young looks pretty fucking legit. And like he, for whatever reason, like he balls he, even if he does underperform, like underperforming versus, I don't know, underperforming versus, Northwestern and underperforming versus Auburn are two completely different things.
Mm-hmm.
Like every team in the SEC outside of, probably Vanderbilt, like has legit NFL guys like everywhere, like flat out everywhere. Like Bryce Young, like this year, he's having an underwhelming season. He has 19 touchdowns and 4 picks, and the team has 2 losses, which everyone's going to freak out about. But here's their 2 losses. Their kicker missed a field goal, and then Tennessee squeaked one in, and they lost 52-49 at Tennessee. And then this week, they lost to LSU 32-31 in the first overtime. Alabama scored a touchdown, and then LSU scored a touchdown and went for 2. So they've lost in crazy fashion. He generally, although again, he hasn't had necessarily like a really great game this year outside of Utah State and Vanderbilt. But I don't know. He's just, this is also probably the worst receiving core he's ever had. Like I'm not going to forget 43 touchdowns and 4 fucking picks last year. I'm not forgetting that. And yeah, he lost. Yeah, he lost versus Georgia in the national championship, and he didn't look good. He threw 1 touchdown and 2 picks. But like literally a month earlier, he put 3 touchdowns on Utah. 3 touchdowns, no picks, 4 total touchdowns with the rushing touchdown on Utah or on Georgia. So I don't know. That's who they should. That's who they should take. I don't think they will.
I don't imagine they do though.
And then I don't.
They're like, hey, we're not a quarterback away from winning, so don't even fucking waste his career over here,
dude. Here's the thing. Here's where I think it gets interesting. Is they hold all the cards really to. I think truly that they could trade that pick, and there's a bunch of teams if Green Bay fucking folds, which at this point in the season where I know they're not making the playoffs, I'm rooting for them not to lose, but like I am. If the second they're eliminated, tank for a fucking draft pick. I don't give a fuck. Like start Jordan Love, let him run his shit down. Let him get fucking killed.
But then in that case, what would you do if you had the number 1 pick and you're the Packers this year?
Bryce Young, not even
regardless.
Flat out, yeah.
What would you do with Rodgers?
Well, here's the thing. I think it's a different situation because honestly, you're saying if Green Bay had the number 1 pick, so I'm assuming that let's just say they lose out the rest of the season and they actually earn the number 1 pick. Here's what I think they do. I think Rodgers flat out understands way more because he felt that he had more football left in him in 2019. or in 2020 when they drafted, or in the 2020 draft before the 2020 season, and he had 2 MVP seasons left in him and signed a 3-year extension. I think this time Rodgers knows that if this year, although I don't think this year is his last year after seeing his comments, he knows that he's not playing 5 years into the future. Mm-hmm. And it's also a different thing. If your team earns the number 1 pick and they have an opportunity at a quarterback, I think that's way different than what Green Bay did, where Green Bay traded up to take a quarterback when they still had Aaron Rodgers. I don't know. Like it feels a lot more different. I don't think he retires. I see your question in the chat. I don't think he retires after the season. But if Bryce Young is there, especially because we don't know what Jordan Love is, I'm taking Bryce Young right now over Jordan Love. And here's what I'm doing. Because Rodgers, whatever, he'll maybe, if they take Bryce Young, I think Rodgers only plays 1 more season. And then Bryce Young gets 1 season to learn under Aaron Rodgers. And then he takes the reins. And then by that time, if Rodgers retires, his contract will still be on the books, but they won't be nearly as handicapped. They can go out, they can go pay a receiver. And then I think you're in that conversation where I think maybe they take a year or 2 of being bad, figuring shit out. And then, but with Matt LaFleur's system, if they run it the way they should, they'll be fine. If they get him.
You think that there's any other quarterback prospects that are worth a first-round pick? Because, I mean, there's going to be a bunch coming out in the first round, but are they going to be worth the pick? Because there have been a shit ton that weren't worth it recently.
I don't know. I think there's some interesting ones across the draft with Michael Penix. It is one who plays for UW, and he's incredibly interesting to me, man. Like, and it's not just because there is that like bias of like I grew up watching UW, and so I always watch him. But 23 touchdowns, 5 picks. He looked pretty bad in their loss, but like their defense is fucking horrible. They can't run, and they can't run the ball super well. But he's the leading passer yards wise in all of college football, and he's doing it at 66.5%.
Damn.
He's playing or a completion percentage, which isn't the highest in college football, but it's like
a Huskies fan.
But like Penix, I keep seeing all this hype for Hendon Hooker's gonna go high, but he shouldn't. He's the quarterback for Tennessee.
For Tennessee.
But bro, the great. You want to know why?
I just saw it because he had that. Wasn't it? There was like 8 touchdowns or something fucking absolutely ridiculous. Who did that? Was
8
that
touchdowns?
Him?
I don't think
threw for like 8 touchdowns.
No, he has 21 touchdowns and 2 picks this year. But here the problem with him is he's like 26. Like he's old. He's one of those
grown man to come through.
Old guys. And same with Stetson Bennett. I'm pretty sure. I think it was. Hendon Hooker's like older than Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson. Like he's older than a lot of these guys who have like years of NFL experience. Mm-hmm. Will Levis is a name I keep seeing getting thrown around. I think he's the quarterback for Memphis. And I don't know a whole lot about him, to be super honest with you. But like, I don't know. He doesn't seem, I haven't, the fact that he's this high of a prospect and he keeps getting thrown up there. And like I couldn't tell you a damn highlight he has. Oh, he's a quarterback for University of Kentucky. Sorry, not Memphis,
Kentucky.
16 touchdowns, 8 picks. Really against and is I mean I guess if you want to say he has all 3 of his picks came against Tennessee, but it's like all right, like he doesn't have a like his best game is against NIU, or Mizzou this past week. I don't know. Like he's one of those guys who keeps getting thrown out there, but again, I don't see anything super duper special with him. He's a high completion percentage guy, but he's not throwing for a whole lot of yards. I don't know. Like realistically this year, I think there's only probably 2 or 3 who are like worth a first round pick. CJ Stroud and Bryce Young, and we've known that. I don't know. Maybe Jaden Daniels out of LSU. I'm not sure if he's available this year. I think he is, if I'm not mistaken. He transferred there from Arizona State. Caleb Williams is going to be the highest he's going to be the big prospect next year. He's the quarterback for USC. He's actually having a pretty fucking insane season. 28 touchdowns, 1 pick so far.
Shit. I can't find it. I saw it on Instagram. It was like one of those fucking like D2 teams where they're just like
Bo Nix. Bo Nix will probably get hit.
That's a crazy name.
I'm not sure if he's gonna go to the draft, but I think he doesn't. But if he does, I could see someone potentially taking him because of the year he's having for Oregon currently. I don't know. Like, there's not a whole lot of great quarterbacks I'm seeing. Like, usually by now. Like, either because they've been on the radar for a couple of years or they're having a breakout season. But like, I don't see anybody who's like it's not going to be as bad as last year where it's like it's not going to be as bad as last year where we had like one taken through 2.5 rounds. But like, I don't think it's not going to be, super crazy with, 6 quarterbacks going in the first round like we've seen.
Yeah.
I don't know. At this point, I think a lot of teams are going to start trying to I think Trey Lance and Jordan Love are probably going to be like on the trade market, kind of like for lower picks after in the offseason. I could 100% see that happening.
Hey, it's an interesting time for football. The end of an era.
Brady's washed. Rodgers is washed. Yeah, I don't know. Again, if you told me currently, right now, that the Packers could, that you could guarantee me the number 1 overall pick if they pulled Rodgers, I'm taking the number 1 overall pick, and I'm taking Bryce Young. I'm flat out taking Bryce Young. Yeah. Or even maybe if it's not even Bryce Young, I'm worst case scenario. What you get that you could trade that first overall pick for two firsts and a second, or and you could really load up on young offensive talent, right? Like you could take, because this year Jackson Smith and Jigba out of Ohio State is flat out one of the best wide receivers college wise. He's getting, for whatever reason, he's getting shadowed by Marvin Harrison Jr. But Jackson Smith and Jigba is flat out. I've never seen, like, he's utterly fucking ridiculous. And I think maybe a lot of people or not a lot of people are forgetting like what he did last year in the, like, Cameron, I know you're not like a huge college football guy.
Yeah.
But do you remember last year's Rose Bowl game? It was Ohio State versus Utah, and it was just like a score fest. Like it was, I think, here, let me look at what the game finished. The game finished 48-45. CJ, here was Jackson Smith and Jigba's stats. And again, this is on a team that had at wide receiver, they had, I think some of them sat out, like Chris Olave sat out. But Jackson Smith and Jigba, and this is again same. Marvin Harrison Jr. this was his stats, and these are crazy stats too. Marvin Harrison Jr. had 6 catches for 71 yards and 3 touchdowns. Jackson Smith and Jigba had 15 catches, 347 yards, and 3 touchdowns.
God damn. That is ridiculous. Ohio State has a wide receiver with the last name Adolph.
Yeah, but Jackson Smith and Jigba this year, he only has, because I'm assuming he's been dealing with some injuries. He has 5 catches for 43 yards, no touchdowns this season. He's only played in 3 games.
I was wondering if I was reading this wrong. Okay.
No, but like he's flat out ridiculous. He has one of the best catches I've ever seen. I'll send it to you after the show.
Word.
But like, I don't know, if Green Bay either needs to get him or they need to get Bryce Young. Like, for me, there's no in between. Like, no more wasting a first round pick on a fucking linebacker. Project. No more. No.
Yeah.
Well, not even a project. I'd like. No, like, don't waste it on a not premium position. Like here's my worst fear. Here's flat out my worst fear of what happens. Let's say the Packers like just lose. Let's say they lose out, get like a top 8 pick. They're picking 7th, and they take like a fucking tackle. I'd be pissed.
Yeah,
I would be flat out pissed if they took like a tackle.
Yeah.
Just ridiculous. All right, let's wrap it up and get out of here. I'm gonna send you that crazy Jackson Smith and Jigba play. You're gonna lose your mind. Okay.
Right.
For me, at Emmitt J. Savoras on Instagram, Twitter, at the C Team Pod on Instagram and Twitter. Let's see, at I think it's Wed Wrap Up on Instagram. We're gonna be getting the TikTok popping here pretty soon. We'll be posting clips and shit like that. What about for you?
It's at Cam R Sucks, CAMRSUX
on Instagram
and
on SoundCloud.
Hit me up for features.
Hit him up.